Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. The question still boils: how did Michael Carrick do against Sunderland? Yeah, we have to talk about it. We have to analyze it. We have to break it down. We have to, talk about it in details. And in truth, that was like one of the most boring games I've ever watched. Under this interim manager, albeit there's been arguments and conversations about how he fared. There's been arguments and conversations about what he did in the game, the tactics, the style of play, everything in between, the missing players and what it could have led to and all of that. But we will break it down, we'll analyze it, and we will just kind of give you all of the tactical breakdowns as to how Man United drew to Sunderland at the Stadium of Light following that high-profile victory over Liverpool. So imagine that scene. Basically, you've taken down the biggest rivals in Liverpool, secured top 4 spots in the secure a spot in Champions League, and then the momentum is finally on your side. But then you travel to the northeast again, and in 90 minutes of football, you don't manage a single shot on target until the clock has hit 93 minutes. Now, this wasn't just a very bad day at the office for Man United. It was kind of like a tactical puzzle that Michael Carrick couldn't solve. Today, like I said, we're diving deep into the stalemate at the Stadium of Light, and we see how a stinky performance exposed the cracks in this so-called revitalized Man United. Today, we're not going to be using the tactical board. I'm having a little bit of an issue with my stylus, so we can analyze, and then I'm sorting that out, and then we can start to analyze again, maybe by the next game. But coming off that emotional tactical high of beating Liverpool, Michael Carrick made a move that raised eyebrows. 5 changes to his starting 11, and it was the most rotation he had ever employed all season. Fringe players like Joshua Zirkzee, Mason Mount were handed their first starts in months, but instead of providing fresh energy, the reshuffle seemed to dismantle the team's rhythm entirely. And those were forced changes. But where I have an issue is if Michael Carrick had made these players play when other players like Joshua Zirkzee were injured, when Casemiro needed a rest, you bring on a Mount when we are winning games. That's if we were winning games convincingly, then there will be that, potential for them to not be match rusty. But I've seen Man United fans come with the excuse of, the players were match rusty, hence why they were not able to meet up with the speed of the game and all of that. Are you kidding me right now? Players were match rusty. It's down. I'll say it's down to the manager, because you didn't give them playing time, you didn't give them minutes, and then you expect them to have that rhythm. But then the players that are the so-called match rusty players have been performing. They have been performing. Now, like I said, coming off that emotional tactical high of beating Liverpool, Michael Carrick made those 5 changes, and then basically kind of dismantled the team's rhythm. But then we still have more than 6 players who have been playing in this Michael Carrick system. Tactically, United looked toothless. And I've said this in most of the tactical breakdowns, where I said we were more brave, we were more lethal in games than we are now. Without the stabilizing presence of Casemiro in that holding role, the midfield pivot of Mount and Kobe just lacked the necessary physicality to kind of handle Sunderland's aggressive approach. Regis Le Bris' side just didn't just show up to defend. They turned the game into a physical battle, contesting every second ball and winning the vast majority of midfield duels. In fact, United's captain Bruno Fernandes won only one of his 6 duels that he contested. This is a statistic that actually encapsulates how United were bullied off the park in that game. And it's very jarring to actually imagine that Man United be going through that, especially for a team like Manchester United. We are Manchester United. We should be beating Sunderland. And I've said this time and time and again, right? The stats actually show that we were horrible and horrendous on the day. Carrick's tactical philosophy under normal circumstances relies on manipulating space and defending as a cohesive unit to lower the quality of the opposition's chances. In the grand scheme of things, all of these words just says Carrick's philosophy is more of a sit back, defend, and then counter. But against Sunderland, the defending as a team mantra, basically, was tested to its limits. Sunderland unleashed a staggering 34 shots, and it was only the heroic performance of goalkeeper Senne Lammens that kept the scoreline level, basically. He kept his clean sheet. That's his back-to-back clean sheets against Sunderland, basically. Lammens made several top-tier saves, including a crucial one against Brian Brobby, proving that he was the only reason United walked away with a point. If not, if Brian Brobby scored his goal, or even Noah Sadiki scoring his goal, that would have just been like a capitulating. Yes, we've secured Champions League, but we needed to solidify top 4 to actually prove that we're the third best team in the league, and we haven't shown it. The breakdown in the final third was basically perhaps the most concerning one, because Joshua Zirkzee, starting as number 9, looked isolated and out of sync with the creative players behind him. United's most dangerous players like Ahmad, returning to his former loan home, and Majorly Matos Cunha, found themselves in oceans of space at times, but suffered from a total lack of clinical execution. Ahmad's decision to square a ball instead of shooting when through on goal served as a microcosm of United's afternoon. Hesitant, uncoordinated, and ultimately unproductive. We were less lethal than we have been in all the games, and we have to call it out. Is it down to the manager? Most likely. In fact, almost assuredly down to the manager, right? Now the question is, why did Man United fail to win? I've brought tactical boards that I've shown you screenshots and pictures, but I don't want to waste your time. I just want to make this tactical breakdown and explain to you what has happened. The question is, why did Manchester United fail to win? It all comes down to a lack of, squad depth. Yes, we could give that as an excuse. A drop in intensity as well. But we've been seeing this drop in intensity for the longest time. While Carrick rejected any suggestion of complacency after securing Champions League football, the performance actually suggested that the team had mentally hit the beach. Basically, we've mentally checked out of this league, considering that we secured Champions League, and it's evidenced in the post-match interview that Diogo Dalot made. Maybe it's a slip of tongue, or maybe just basically to say, okay, we've won it, now we need to now play well to secure. Maybe we're grinding our wins. Now it's time for us to now play well to actually get this Champions League deal sorted. I mean, to get our season, to end our season on a high. I think that's the best way to put it, to end our season on a high. But Sunderland, by contrast, were organized, physical, highly motivated, nearly stealing the win when Getrauda basically hit the post in the 90th minute, in the 71st minute. Noah Sadiki had a chance where he could have scored, but Senne Lammens saved it. Now, Getrauda had that chance where he whipped it with his left foot and fell, and then he hit the post. So we thank Lammens, we thank the post. If those 2 goals had gone in, that's 2-0, basically done. And Sunderland have done their revenge. In the end, United remained third in the table, 6 points clear of Liverpool. And the draw at Sunderland served as a sobering reminder. Even under Carrick's generally successful tenure, the gap between the winning formula and the fringe squad is vast. The levels of performance of this team is very, in fact, is below par. For United fans, it was a shameful performance, right? That proved that without the core spine, the Red Devils are still very much a work in progress. Now, most fans are already beginning to call for the fact that Man United need to sign midfielders. It's evident that Man United need to sign midfielders and all of that. But how about you get the chance with the available players, seeing as you said Michael Carrick can do well with the available players. Get these available players to win games, and then we can now take it up from there. But it is what it is. I don't know. I didn't want to do any tactical breakdown because the truth is, tactical breakdown, this is it. But the truth is, I could say that if I was to go deep into details to kind of break down every frame of the play, you would understand that there's gaping holes in this team and there's a wide gap. And how is it possible? Well, obviously, Ugarte was also injured. But I know if Ugarte was available, probably Michael Carrick could have played him over Mason Mount. But how is it possible that Mason Mount, who's playing as a central as a central midfielder, is doing more of the defensive work than Kobbie Mainoo. Mason Mount had 14 defensive contributions, had 100% pass accuracy, had 100% crossing, won more duels. Kobbie Mainoo took part in all duels and never won any duel. While Kobbie Mainoo had 10 defensive contributions, Mason Mount had 14. So who was doing the defensive work? You see the spaces, you see the positions occupied. Mason Mount was all over the pitch, but he was doing all of the defensive works and the recovery. And yet, he's so injury prone. And Mainoo is supposed to be the deep line playmaker and the pivot for this team. But it is what it is. We can always talk about this. We can always break it down. But the truth, the taste of the food is in the pudding or is in the eating. But the truth also lies in the fact that it all boils down to a lot of factors that proves that this manager has a question around him or a question over him. We have seldom beat any team below 10th. We struggle to beat any team below 10th all through the season. But it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I just wanted to talk about how Michael Carrick fared against Sunderland in this game. Just kind of like to give you a brief tactical breakdown. Do you want to just kind of flood you with how boring this game was and how horrendous the game was. But thank you so much. Go check out all of our other videos on our channel. We will talk about a transfer news maybe later today, kind of analyze the full story behind it. I'm just waiting for it to mature because I'm seeing things in the media, and I just want to be sure that everything is aligning, right? Fabrizio Romano has dropped some stuff and all that. We're going to analyze it and tactically break it down and do a player profile for one player that Mine is interested in. So be on the lookout for that. Hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as related to all things Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.